man who, one of the men that combs the globe looking for talent for the Raptors, Masai Ujiri, Assistant General Manager in terms of player personnel. Masai, assess this draft for us in 2010.
I think it's going to be a tough draft where we pick. As a whole, I think from 1 to 7, the players are all set. After 7, 8 to 22, 23, 24, I think it's going to be teams picking whoever they want and what position they're looking for, and different types of talent, I think. But as a whole, it's an okay draft. If you're picking high, you're good.
Yeah.
And if you're picking 13, you have plenty work to do.
Masai, when you look at this year's draft, and past years the international flavor has been big in terms of drafting early in this draft. Do you see that same tendency going to happen this year, or do you see more of a local talent base and international players sprinkled in on the side?
Well, with the international players, I think it's always shaky at this time. But I think at the end of the day, like guys get in. We have. Like the point guard we worked out today, for instance, Thomas, he's come up from France and kind of a late guy that's gained a lot of love everywhere. The kid Kevin Sarafin, big kid from France, they'll be there. There are always players there. Last year we said the same thing, and then all of a sudden the guys like Boubois and those guys come up. The year before it was like Batum and all those guys. Like they'll come up after a while, and yeah, they're talented, and so yes, it's heavy on the American side, but those guys are there. It's scanty, but they'll be there.
Masai, how do you assess where you're drafting at 13? You basically told us from 8 to 23 you can mix them up and pull anybody out. How do you assess the need in terms of what the team needs and best player available in terms of sheer talent and where the team needs to go? How difficult a decision is that for you?
Oh, very difficult, and I think that's why we've brought in all kinds of players, bigs, points, wings, combos, and with the whole Chris Bosh situation, free agency and our team last year, where we were and how we ended the season. I think there's an overall overhaul in terms of evaluation, and our pick is going to be, I think, the best talent available, but the best talent available that fits our team.
Now, when you look again at the international scene, Masai, and you see the quality of players that are coming over, maybe not the Dirk Nowitzki's right now, but players like Boubois, you've seen stepped up on the scene last year. How do you really assess that talent and project it in the long term based on, some international experience, but not necessarily the flash that, say, a Manu Ginobili had or a Dirk Nowitzki had?
Well, those guys come in and give the example of like a Batum, and you said a Boubois, those type Ibaka, those type guys. I think you have to groom, and sometimes you have to throw them in there, and kind of like how we did with DeMar. I know Oklahoma City. I know they kept like an Ibaka there for a year, but they had coaches over there that worked them, and it's a process. If it's something you're going to come and expect right away, or even the guys that get picked very high, the Andre Bargianis, right. It's a process, but look at the kind of player he's become now, and those guys are going to take a while. They have to, should we say, acclimatize here and get used to the game. And a lot of them struggle with defense mostly. And but at the end of the day, like a lot of them become good players in the league and good role players. So I think it's a process for them. And when teams do it the right way, they get good players out of it.
Masai, thanks for your time, and I know all the fans are looking forward to a gem being picked, and maybe it won't necessarily be a gem right away, but as you said, with patience and hard work, maybe we have somebody to look forward to in years to come.
Well, hoping so too. I think 13 will be a good pick.
All right, Masai, thank you. When we come back, we'll chat with Jim Kelly, the man who's been here for 15 years, sitting in the draft room and helping make the picks.